When I talk about tactics, I'm very much coming from a background of Western U.S. Army style squad tactics, where you have two identical fire teams and a squad leader to control it all. It's very modular, it's very interchangeable, because each fire team is identical. You each have a machine gun, your grenadier, rifleman, everything that can just be flipped, support, assault, whatever you want to do. The Russian army is very different. It's important to know that our enemy characteristics can be very different, and they may fight very differently based on what their culture, their military culture, and capabilities reflect. So the way the Russian squad is set up, you have a squad commander, and then you have a dedicated fire group, the support element, consisting of grenadier, rifleman, and your classic PKM machine gunner. These guys have limited capability to operate on their own, which reflects the lack of junior leadership in the Russian military. So the squad leader is typically just going to place them and go with the assault element, which is a rifleman and a senior rifleman. These guys are the maneuver element, and they can actually do the flanking assaulting. But you'll notice that this is a pretty small squad. This is only 6 people. They only have 1 machine gun per the Army's 2 light machine guns. So this is generally going to be a relatively easy fight until you realize that the Russians have completely abandoned the idea of light infantry in general in their official doctrine. So they actually have 2 more members, both a driver and a gunner of some sort of support vehicle, typically a BMP or a BTR. So this is where the other 2 squad mates live, which means that you're never typically going to encounter a Russian squad without a support vehicle, which makes this a very, very different fight than if it was just light infantry. But with that said, the nature of logistics, maybe they just don't get their vehicle. Maybe they have a few extra people, or maybe they're going in places where the vehicle simply can't go, which means that you do have more of an advantage. So it's important to know how the Russians intend to fight, how the enemy intends to play their cards, so that you can have kind of your own Uno reverse cards on stack if you need to call them up. Keep that in mind. The enemy doesn't always play by your rules. They play by their own rules. And if you want to get in their head, you got to think about how they're going to fight.